Hello. I am going live here on Instagram and Facebook. I know today is like a touchy day for people. I completely get it. I'm somebody, you probably don't hear me talk about politics a whole lot because I have my own views just on politics in general. And that's not why I'm here to chat with you all today. But just for a real general, what my general view on politics is that, hey, if we're divisive, if we are fighting against each other, if we are hating on each other, I know it's a little too soon to have this conversation, but if we are doing that, if we are in fear and worry about what the future holds, we are disempowered, my friends. Like, bottom line, that is the biggest message that wants to come through today. If you want more, I made a TikTok video about it. I get a little more raw and real over on TikTok because they can handle the freak flags. The freak flags can fly on TikTok. And other places they can't, or I feel like they can. I got to work on that. But my point is, if you are in fear about who got elected, if you're in fear about what the future holds, this is from somebody that I didn't really agree with either candidate. I did place a vote, but that's neither here nor there. I'm really more of an independent, and I really, truly, from my own intuitive point of view, what I get intuitive guidance on a daily basis is politics is very divisive. And if we believe that there's some sort of dark force out there, that could be kind of trying to infiltrate the system, that dark force would want you in fear and scared and fighting with each other and hating on the people that voted this way or the people that voted that way, or that is what I'm not a religious person. But, so some people, if you're religious, you might think that dark force is like the devil or the enemy. To me, I just call it the dark force. I know it exists. I've seen it. I have seen how it's trying to shut down light workers. I know I'm letting my freak flag out right now. I'm sharing too much, but I've seen it. I've seen how it's working, and it feeds on us being disempowered. Okay, there's so much more going on below the surface. It looks a certain way, and that's intentional. That's intentional. That is what these kind of forces want. They want it to look scary. They want it to be a certain way. You've got to rise above that. You've got to be smarter than the system. And that's actually what I came on to talk about today, but now I'm feeling all this energy. So give me a thumbs up if you're feeling what I'm talking about, because there's a lot of energy that wants to come through. Corrupt systems want you to be scared. They want you to be easy to control. We're very easy to control when we're in fear and when we're hating each other. That's not the point. I have many friends on both sides of the spectrum. I don't judge. Everybody has the reasons for voting the way that they did. We've got to get out of this, all the hate I'm seeing on Facebook today of if you voted this way, you're making the problem or whatever. I'm so worked up right now. The energy is so intense. But I'm just seeing a lot of hate out there. It never used to be this divisive in our country, right? It used to be you could be a Republican or a Democrat. You could have different views and we could all still get along. And now it's so intensely, this is the good side, this is the bad side, vice versa. And you're wrong if you think differently. That's what's disempowering. That's what needs to change. That's what needs to shift. Everybody has the reasons for doing what they do, for voting the way that they do. And I just truly believe from a spiritually guided standpoint that It's never what it looks like, and it's all perfect somehow. Probably too soon, too early to say that. For some of you, I understand, but it isn't what it looks like. And that's the download I've been getting on like a daily basis these last few days. It's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. But anytime we're letting something externally affect us, this goes for your own personal life or in the global world we live in. If we're letting that external thing create a feeling inside of us and affect our joy and affect our happiness and affect our life, and I have to be careful what I say here, right? Definitely feel your feelings. Like, by all means, feel your feelings. But I think I know a lot of people that get so wrapped up into the political situation that it's like, it doesn't just affect the day, it affects the weeks and the years and the months. And it's like, we've really got to be careful about taking back our power, not feeling victimized and disempowered by these external situations. Because, my friends, we're in very highly charged, energetic, cosmic times. There's always going to be something right now. If it wasn't that, it would be something else. And it's, how am I going to move through these disruptions in my life? Am I going to just go into such immense fear? Am I going to break down completely? Am I going to want to hit the checkout button? Am I going to want to, just isolate myself? Or am I going to go within? Because in here is where I will get the answers. In here is where I will find the peace. We're never going to find it outside of ourselves. We're working on creating more of that in our world. And it has to get worse before it gets better. So, Tara, hello, I see you. We should not live in fear. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's a tricky situation to navigate. There's no other way around that. It's a tricky situation to navigate. But the answers come from within you. The peace comes from within you. And it's just a good thing to remember about anything in life. Like, I always say to myself and anybody that works with me, it's like, what is life giving you? And how are you showing up to life? Life is never going to be this comfy ride, neutral ride that we get to go through, right? It has highs, it has lows. And the quicker we can learn how to navigate those, it's like a surfer on a wave. I know you've probably heard that analogy before, but, like riding those waves. Like, some of those waves are really intense. Like, we were in Daytona in September and we were out with boogie boards on the waves. And it was like this perfect analogy, like I get why people use the analogy because it's so perfect. Like, some of those waves like slapped me upside the head and like knocked me over and I got water up my nose, and some of the waves were really gentle, like a little ride. And then sometimes there wasn't a wave at all. And so there's gonna be waves in our life and we have to learn how to navigate those waves with more ease, and you might be going, but how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this major storm in my life right now? This tsunami of a wave, if it feels that way to you. And, to me, that answer would be, it's like going within. I know that sounds such like a blanket thing, but it's like, we've got to find the strength in here. We've got to find the embodiment. We've got to find the nervous system regulation, the healing. It's all going on here. Nothing externally is ever going to be able to give us the groundedness and the peace that we're looking for. It's all has to go inside. It has to come from inside. So none of that is what I intentionally wanted to speak on today. It's just, I wanted to talk about some other things. But obviously today is a really intense day for many people, and you know, that kind of election has been shadowing our day. Some people are happy, some people are extremely sad, and so I just wanted to touch on that and just give a few points of kind of what, as an intuitive channel, what has been coming through my channel today about this. It's never what it looks like, and it's all perfect somehow. This is a mantra that my teacher Laurel gave me many years ago, and I've used it time and time again. It's never what it looks like, and it's all perfect somehow. I also want to say, like, don't believe everything you hear on the news. Don't believe every word that's being spoken. There's agendas going on. Again, going back to the beginning of this video, this kind of dark force that, you know, the spiritual war that might be going on in our system, in our earth. There's agendas even in places where you think you can trust. Okay, you've got to, like, that's why I say, like, look under the surface. The surface is always going to look a certain way, but go several layers down and see what's underneath. Do more research. Go down rabbit holes. Don't just accept what you're being given by any political official, okay, or any media. There is so much more going on. That's all I can say. There's so much more going on than you know. And in times like this, if you feel this discord, it's a time to go towards what brings you peace. You know, what fills you up. Going within, tapping into your own inner resources. And instead of letting an external experience create your experience, you create your experience. Still got to feel the feelings, still got to go through the emotions, still got to process what comes up for you personally and triggers. But I highly recommend working on, if today is really, really hard for you, is to make it a practice of working on how can I create my experience instead of letting an external experience create my life or create my mood or so on and so forth. When we're going into, on a nervous system note, when you're going into these deep states of fear, the nervous system, it doesn't know that it's just like an election that's going on, right? Your nervous system, if you're going into fear, whether it's about money, whether it's about the election, whether it's about a discord you had with a friend, if you're going into fear, your nervous system doesn't know that it's just kind of something you're thinking about. It literally thinks you're being attacked. That's just that kind of thought alone has really helped me. Give me a thumbs up if that's resonating for you. It's a really, really important piece to touch on, because your nervous system thinking that it's threatened, thinking that it's under attack, is sending all the signals to put you into fight or flight, which is survival mode. So we don't want to live, we don't want to get stuck. Take it from me. Okay, this is kind of a good segue into what I actually wanted to talk about. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible today. But we don't want to send those kinds of signals to our nervous system if we can help it. Because your nervous system will, again, put you in those survival states, and then it can be harder to get out of them. So I know all of this, it's very biologically wired, and sometimes there's not a lot we can do about it. But your job is to, again, catch those thoughts, catch those states, and bring yourself back out of it as much as you can. Like finding the peace, going within, doing some, somatic work to help process some of those fear-based emotions that may be coming up. And if you need any support with that, I have a nervous system self-healing program. You just do it online. You have access to it forever, and you work on it and in your own pace. So just message me for that. But I almost feel like I should log off of this and make a new video quick, because I want these two videos to be separate, because they're about two separate things. So I'm going to hop off here if you're still watching live and you want to hear what I actually came to talk about, which is healing the body. I did not want to talk about the election today, but that's what I was guided to talk about. So if you want to get that information, just pop right back on. I'm just going to hop off and then I'm going to hop back on.